I'm live. Oh my goodness. I'm showing up today. Hello, 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 and welcome. Thank you for those who watch the replay. I probably won't be here on here too long. Energy has been a wee bit low, but that's okay. I am here. I am here, you know? Sure, I'm here. Um, so much. Man, okay, let's look at the astrology. First of all, this is the last day for the moon in Gemini. And then the moon goes into Cancer, which is nice, but it's in its balsamic phase once it's in there. I mean, we're in a waning moon. And I feel like everything is really there's an accumulation. Anyways, everything's stacking up on everything else. And the sun is going from 8 to 9 degrees in Leo. So we're getting ready for this new moon. The new moon will be on Sunday, August 4th. My dad's birthday. Yeah. Um and this accumulation, thank you, word gods, accumulation of energies that are coming in are really putting a lot of pressure on the world around us, and even maybe feeling a little bit of pressure on your own self. This is where, especially where the moon is covering, and with Mercury is covering, where Mercury went retrograde up to 2 years ago in August, September, October. So 22, 23. So if you're picking up on any clues of things that were going on there, if not, look back at your notes or go back on your Facebook. Um, scroll up, scroll down, whatever it is. And we do have the moon or the sun square in the North Node. I just feel like, with where Saturn is in Pisces and retrograde, I mean, there's a lot of blockage with spiritual flow and people wanting to really connect, or trying to find their way, or trying to decipher, what they're feeling, how they are feeling, what direction do I go into, and just coming to a place of into a positive place, right? And this is not where it's like I got like, what is it you need to be fine? Yeah, what is it that you need to be fine? Um, I know for myself, I had physio today. So, and I have physio on Friday, and then I have to I get to get a massage and stuff, but that probably won't be till next Saturday or so, because of the long weekend and everything. And it's just roadblocks. There's a lot of roadblocks. I'm finding the roadblocks, and that's even, with Mercury is slowing down. He hasn't even gone retrograde yet, but in that slowdown of energies where I can't even get into my doctor. I mean, I just called just a few minutes ago, not taking phone calls at this time, or please leave a message. We will get back to you, and blah blah blah. And so it's all of these roadblocks that are coming up, and feeling the roadblocks, right? You might be feeling a lot of things that are um happening within your own life. And this is where we have to, especially with Mercury being in Virgo, it's like we got to find the fun. You got, and not the other part. God bless my Virgos, but I don't necessarily think of Virgos as fun. Like I just don't. I know they're fun. I know they're loving people. I know they're caring people. But my first thought of a Virgo is not like, ooh, yeah, fun party time. I mean, when I think of a Leo, or, you know, that's what I think of as a fun person. Or, I mean, it's just like, thinking that a Taurus is like, yeah, Taurus is, I mean, once they get out and they're organized and you tell them where you're going, they can be fun. Same with Virgos. I mean, they're mutable. Yeah, they will go with the flow. If you show up at their house and they're not exactly ready, yeah, are they going to be pissy? Yeah, they're going to be pissy, but they're going to go along with you, you know. So Taurus just wouldn't fucking go. This is where it's like, especially where Mercury is, and Mercury going at, he's at 3 degrees right now in Virgo. This is where it is. It's got to find that positive space. This is where you got to find that positive attitude. And things, especially with the accumulation of Jupiter and Mars coming into a conjunction. They're not there yet. They're 7 degrees apart, but we're starting to feel the friction of it. And that friction of that, I'm going to say explosive, extreme explosive energies, because you got air on top of a fire sign, of a fire who rules fire, who also rules fire, who rules, here's an explosion that's going to happen with the god of war. And if you're following anything in the news, I mean, there is just so much to unravel and so much to unpack. And I really had to sit with a lot of what's coming in the world right now. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, yeah, we've been in it. I mean, the world's been in many extreme circumstances. And throughout the ages, I mean, there's been crazy shit that goes on, and it's amazing when you look at, what was happening, say with um Lincoln. Well, that was the age of the samurais, happening over in Japan. When you look at different places in the world, where there were civil wars or unrest, and you start looking around, oh, yeah, there was a conflict over here, or there's things. So there's always something that's going on in the world, and I get it. But this is this is different, baby. It's just bringing us to some really crazy aspects, and especially with Venus, and this is before Venus goes into and she will be going into Virgo in around the new moon. So this is, I feel, causing crisis, and you might be feeling the causing of crisis within your life. So try not to get crazy. This is about trying to figure things out. You may feel out of alignment in some way, and I really understand and I get that, because I know for myself, physically and mentally, this is, the last few days have been a little bit tiresome, and getting just getting my motivation and getting going. So I know I have periods within my day that I can, like, yeah, let's go ahead and do these. And other times it's just like, no, we're not doing that right now. And other times it's like, okay, I don't want to be doing it, but I have to get out there and I have to do whatever it is. So this is honoring and just watching how your energy is flowing right now. And people are going to start getting a little bit leery of things in the world, and in how they are getting out and connecting with others. And this is actually where we're supposed to be getting out and connecting with others. And so we're going to find a push and a fear factor that's going to come in, that doesn't want you to get out, doesn't want you to connect. And the fear factor is going to come in with I'm gonna with a lot of, and it starts with a T and it ends with an ism. And there's going to be a lot coming forth. And here we have to really come into the neutrality, the neutralness of our mind, to bring forth the neutral, to bring forth where we can come into a place of creativity, come into a place of love, and really not to get drawn in. And it's hard, and it's hard. I Because I watch a lot of, things in England and what's happening in England. Um, I mean, the UK's crazy right now. And I know some people are, wanting to go, and there's some sacred journeys of sacred sites that are being planned in the fall and stuff. But there's some really, craziness that's happening there. And it's not It's not caused by the Brits themselves. It's not caused by the real nationalists who you believe, who you know are the Brits. It's being caused by others and that are causing it. And this is, I feel, the wedge that is trying to be the division that's trying to be pushed there. And one side is doing it very well, but the establishment of the powers that be are helping with that wedge. And I feel they're trying to push the wedge. Now, information just came out a couple of days ago of a T attack. I'm going to say a capital T attack that was supposed to be happening in Toronto. And it was a father and son. And the father and son, when you look at their names, are not from here. And they're a little bit darker skinned than I am. And they come from an area where, you know, um, they have a little bit of issues right now. And I have to use I have to talk like this, otherwise um my I could get a strike again. And getting a strike again means that I won't be able to bring out as much information as I can to the people who follow me. And it's not to be fear mongering. This is not to be fear mongering. The unrest that's happening in the UK is horrific, and especially what just happened in with the 3 little girls that were killed, and it was a music studio. And some of the people I follow, came out with some of the information, and of course, the thing is that the powers that be, and we're seeing it here in Canada, that we're gonna give you have rights over here because we feel sorry for you. We feel sorry for you. You know what? This is like giving a bad child um a piece of rope and saying, "You know what? You can have that bad temper. Yeah, you can hate little Sally. That's okay. You can hate this one and that one. That's fine." And go and hurt that person. But Sally can't retaliate. Sally just has to take it. Now, how long do you think Sally's going to take it before Sally's going to retaliate? And that's what we're starting to see. And they're wanting to push and they're wanting to push. Even the PM, when he went into South Fork and he went in there and people did not want him. And now there's riots in South Fork that are happening. And the thing is that this is what I love, because this is why I love when you see it in real time. You see, here is a community of Brits, real British people, like Brits, and they call them they have name for the uneducated, whatever. And but then the craziness happened in a place called Luton, and the police ran away because, oh my god, and these people were not what you would call Brits. Okay. And even a member of parliament who's been elected, who is basically, I wouldn't call him British. I really wouldn't. What I would call British. My uh, and sort of egging things on. And I feel like this is when we see this Jupiter and Mars as they come together, everybody believes Jupiter's, this wonderful, he's Santa Claus. But this is what he's not going to be Santa Claus when they come together. And we're starting to see the that energy frequencies of it. And even those who I follow and some of the people that I know who live there are even saying that it's becoming a tinderbox. Like, this is just it's getting crazy. And you may not, and when I was talking to a person I know, anyways, and she was saying, Mary, she goes, everybody thinks, with Canada it's fine. She goes, where you are, you're good. Like, you're kind of good for now. But she goes, it's how they're going to infiltrate and come over to where you are. And I said, no, we're seeing it. I said, we're seeing it. But nobody wants to say anything because it's that bad child that you just don't want to offend, because maybe their parents might get really offended and then start accusing you of being such and such a person, of doing that. And I feel like part of this push is part of what they are wanting to create and be able to bring forth a certain form of justice that is totally different than what we saw in 2020, 2019, 2020, because this, what they are and wanting to push forward, is something more of a militant type of force. And that's something people have to be aware of, because when we surrender to the crying child who's throwing a temper tantrum, and you surrender every single time to them, and you allow them every single time to be able to have the bad behavior, then the bad behavior continues. um, there is a group that are trying to buy an island off the coast of Scotland, and they want to make it an Islamic state, and they have their own army to do it. And right now the sale has been blocked, and they've said no, the people who own it, no. And this is where, I mean, which is good, but there's a push for it. But the government doesn't see, they're hoping that the government can step in somehow to say, no, you're not allowed to do this here. And that's the piece, is that we're seeing such a surrender. We see pockets of it coming out. I mean, Venezuela right now is people, it was funny. A woman that I used to work with, she just brought last year, she brought her mom home from Venezuela. And one of the things, like, her and I talked about it before, she goes, but the thing is that the people themselves, they want justice, they want, goodness in their country. And they there were people that they're out protesting, and then they had looters, and then some of the people in the neighborhood said, no, that's not what we want. And the people returned the stuff. This is what we want, and trying to show them, like, we want the justice. We don't want this person to be our leader. We don't want this puppet to be in there, and wanting to make that change. And Venezuela does have a lot to offer, and we know that. It's just, again, it's just, how can we keep people oppressed to a point where they just continue to be oppressed? What does it take for people to react? And I mentioned a long time ago about a story about the Serbs, and what it took was when they went after their children. And it's not just little boys, it's not the boys, they're going after the girls. They're going after the little girls. Now, the 3 little girls that were murdered, were 6. I think one was 6, one was 7, and one was 12, I believe. Beautiful little ones. And they were in a dance studio that just wanted to they were it was called the Taylor Swift, dance studio, or dance, for summer camp, and they were dancing to Taylor Swift stuff and learning moves and stuff, and little girls just love that shit, you know? And just, people are just at a point where it's like, where can I put my child that's safe, right? And that's where we're coming to, even here, even though that we're feeling safe at this point, but we're kind of on edge, and we just don't know. And this is, again, this is where I'm going to say, especially for young girls, to be very, very, very wary of where you go and what you do. And it's it's where things are going to get ignored to a point where all of a sudden you can't control that little one that's having a temper tantrum, and things are just going to start to escalate. That's what we're walking into as we're walking into August. And this is where we have where it's coming in and saying that we have to come into a place where we can find our positivity, where we can find our love, where we can find a connection, as things are going to be feeling very extreme and very explosive in all of this. And it's very important for us to stay alert, to stay grounded, and to send love. Send love. The more love, the more positivity you can send, that's helping to create the change, helping to bring forth so that things can start taking force and taking a force in all of this. Um, and that's where we're at right now. Uh, in our lovely, lovely world. And I know it's frustrating. I know it's overwhelming. But when I looked at the astrology and I see it, I'm just like, okay, we just got to take one step at a time right now. So, same thing goes. Keep yourself, make sure you stock up and stuff on what you need at this time, and keeping yourself stocked up. So, it's just a crazy time. Get the popcorn, sit back, and watch how it unfolds, because it's going to get crazier. And I feel things that are happening over there is just the escalation. I just feel the explosiveness. And the explosiveness that are going to come in the major cities and stuff, that are there and stuff. And it's when you start seeing the regular Joe standing up and saying, fuck it, you know what? I don't respect you anymore. I don't respect the authority. I don't respect our government. I don't, this is where, unrest starts to happen, because you don't have that respect, because they don't have that respect for you. The ones that want to be there, and I'm not, are being told to stand down. And that's what we are beginning to see. So between now and the end of the year, again, hang on. Things are going to start getting a little bit heavy right now. And that's where we have to stay in our positiveness with everything that is going on. Yeah, you got to be the queen of I don't give a fuck. You got to know things. You got to know where you go. You got to know what you do. And you just can't go willy-nilly with things. You got to understand what you are doing and where you're going. In Lebanon right now, that's just one of the pieces to the puzzle that's unfolding at this time. And that's just sort of putting and what they're showing, another slice in the cake, right? And with it, you're going to find being overwhelmed. So there's an overwhelmness with this. You might have the knowledge, you might have the understanding, but there is that overwhelmness that comes with it. And the 10 does. The 10 of wands brings in, that struggle, that feeling, can I do this? Can I carry on? But this is where you're going to be experiencing the oppressive responsibility, or unable to remove yourself from stressful situations. Things, but you're going to feel the stress, you're going to feel the heaviness. And this is where you have to really say, okay, where's my love? Where's my centeredness? Where am I spiritually in my life? And this is where bringing it in even more and even stronger, as you go on, because I feel the skills are there, but sometimes you're not going to be acknowledged for all the skills and the energy. So this is an expanding of your energy. There's going to be a lot where you're going to be feeling, what are you getting out of this in the end? So that feeling of, again, of the overwhelmness of everything that's going on in here. So you might need to make some long-term goals and look at a sense of balance. Where can I, what can I shift in order to make things in a place in my life feeling more in a flow, feeling more of a balance. And that's going to be very important, yeah, because you're going to feel, yeah, the trappedness is there. So it's taking those steps right now. I know it's the heaviness is coming in and people are going to be feeling more of the heaviness that's happening, and it's just taking the steps that need and looking at where you need to revise, what you need to revisit. This is confusion, uncertainty over life altering decisions. And this is looking at the difficulties in making the choices that you are going to have to be making as we are moving forward, especially towards this new moon. This new moon in Leo is very ominous. It is a very beautiful new moon, but there's a lot of little fires and little things that are going on around this new moon that can bring in some really crazy activities, unexpectedness. But this is where it's like, okay, yeah, all right, I see that. Okay, I can handle that. Yeah, I knew they were a little bit fucked, so that's why I never went over there. These are the kinds of things that you need to look at. So exploring avenues of meditation, self-expression, creative visualization. This is very important for all of us to be doing at this time. So sending you guys out so much love. I know giving you this and I'm feeling like sort of blah, especially the last well, I've been feeling this way for quite some time. But anyways, that's beside the point. I have the new moons. The new moon readings are going to be coming out on Sunday, Monday. So I know it's a long weekend. So the new moon is new moon. Speak, Mary. Speak, speak. New moon readings are coming out. They're $40. If you want 12 readings from now to the end of the year, that's 2 readings a month. It's $360. So if you want 2 readings a month for the rest of this year to keep you guys abreast of all the cray that's coming in, it's $360. And I deliver that to your inbox with a tarot reading with that as well. So, because there's some, and it's what I love why I love doing the moon readings is because it gives you an idea. Okay, what am I having to do over the next few months? That's a little bit crazier. What am I handling over the next couple weeks, especially from as we go from a new moon into that full on full moon, and the full moon is in Aquarius, and that's going to activate that's going to be a huge activation that's going to come forth with this moon. So there's going to be a huge activation that's going to happen, plus it's going to be during Mercury retrograde, and this Mercury retrograde is nothing to sneeze at, people. This Mercury retrograde, and I can feel it now because it's doing shit in my life, but it's more of, and because it's remember, Virgo rules the 6th house, the 6th house of health and of what you do. So what you do of service, so health and service and stuff like that. And it is definitely hitting my health house and what my health house has to do. So anyways, onwards and upwards, right? Onwards and upwards. That's what we have to do. Keeping ourselves abreast, keeping ourselves positive in all of this. So if you're wanting to get the rest of the year for the readings, get a hold of me. I will do payment plans for those who want to do payment plans, or if you just want a reading for this Sunday, it's $40, and you can definitely DM me or email thegurumama@gmail.com. So blessings, everybody. Have a great one. Enjoy the sun. It's plus 30, not minus 30. So let's enjoy the plus 30. I don't care. Plus 30. Let's enjoy it, baby. Talk to you later.